Hi, I'm Kesten Rono, and you're here, day 87 of A Course in Miracles, continuing our review, remembering only God's plan for salvation will work, and you holding grievances, your own upsets, is an attack on God's plan for salvation. Grievances are in conflict with love. Love is your source. God is your source. Love is a source of miracles. You are a miracle. Miracles mean life, and you are alive. Holding grievances is an attack on love. God's plan for salvation is to notice your light, your love, to love in action, to be the expression of love, to connect with the inexplicable, beyond evaluation source of what a miracle is, to remember your foundational thoughts with God, realizing that everything you've ever known or experienced or thought is collected in the all there is. That if God is all knowing, he knows, of course, everything about you and your past, even if you do not remember. So, by recognizing that grievances, upsets, are at odds with knowing love, that dis-ease is at odds with knowing more ease, we may choose to let some of the things that we feel which cause us stress, we may choose to let them go. And in this process, we may forgive the origination of their sources in order to even feel lighter, to say, I don't even want this anymore. And I want to declare what I want. I want to know more love. Okay. Well, if I'm focused on the things that upset me all the time, it will be challenging to be focused on love. Perhaps I can get these things out of the way, knock them off my to-do list of forgiveness, and see how I feel when they are let go. What do I need to do then to let go? These are some deep things. These are causing me to feel. I'm scared to feel these things. May I feel strong enough to let myself feel this fear so I can see that it is all okay, that I am fundamentally safe visiting a fearful idea I'm holding on to, and I'm willing to feel it. That by going into this place full of fear, recognizing it for what it is, just an idea full of fear, we may disarm it. We may no longer feel its weight and burden. We may let go. And if it was associated with someone because this energy is no longer the same for us and we do not wish to have it any longer, we may forgive this person and offer them the same opportunity of peace. We have removed ourselves from some attack cycle. We have said, I dream of something for me, and therefore I dream of it for you. I would like to know it, and I would like you to know it. Because if you know it, like I wish to know it, you will move forward in peace. It is the greatest gift I can offer. And the most logical way to peace for myself, for if everything around me is granted peace, then I am living in a world full of peace. This is God's plan for salvation. It is his will that we notice the incongruences of the ideas that we are binding ourselves to, that they are out of alignment with abundance, truth, and love. They are fundamentally not peace. Therefore, we are investing ourselves in something that is destructive, and we will be destroyed. God's will is that this will eventually happen, that the idea we are holding on to will eventually need to be looked directly at for what it is. And then when we look into it, we will feel ourselves. Oof, a true reflection of how we feel. This is the thing that we've been hiding from. We will eventually feel ourselves. Salvation is just the ability to align with this idea, with true vision, saying, oh, this thing that I was really, really, really attached to actually doesn't matter. It's either some false idol I've been hoping will save me, or some attack thought that I'm living below. Both of them deny me my own sovereignty and my own opportunity for creativity of mind, that I would like to see the world differently, that I would like to align the way that I am processing with this idea of true vision, which is simply noticing the truth for what it is and noticing illusions for what they are and accepting them. And this is not a sociopathic idea with no emotion. It's actually feeling deeply so that we may know innately that we are on the right path of love. Not about disassociating and turning off our feeling, that we are moving deeper into ourselves, into whatever it is that we are afraid of, letting it go so we may know more happiness. And in that happiness, discover more peace, realizing that we are embraced by love. That's fundamentally what we are. The miracle is waking up to noticing that we are the love in action. We are expressions of it. We are fundamentally it, and everything that we are interacting with is it also. That there is God all-knowing, inventing you in the name of love. Within God's ecosystem, it's his realm, and you are inventing ideas using your imagination for an experience. You could go on a roller coaster ride and hate it, be absolutely scared. That was the worst thing ever. My back hurts. The line was too long. And I might go on the same ride with you and think, wow, that scared the heck out of me. Let's get back in line. I don't care how long it is. I want to try that again. That we may have nearly identical experiences and fundamentally assign a totally different value to them. This is the power of your mind. This is why there are no negative things, because, well, neutral things. There can be negative things, I suppose, because you would be charging them negatively. But there are no neutral things because there are no neutral thoughts. This is where you live. You are inside. Everything that you're experiencing physically is inside your mind, which is inside of God's mind. God has created you out of love. You fundamentally exist in love. It's so unconditional that you may do whatever you want because you reside in perfect safety in God. With the idea that you are a mind, you may now inhabit or create this entire ecosystem. We don't know. A mind would be able to say, build everything, and then build the characters with the ability not to see that they built everything. Yeah. It would be infinitely powerful to imagine any kind of world that you want, just like kids playing on the lawn. You could therefore say then, well, they're making it up and this is real, so we want to talk about the real. Okay, totally. Let's just say we don't know. But let's admit that we do feel and we do wish for peace. And we have been tricking ourselves, giving into fear, and participating encyclical attack thoughts that do not serve us and are not in our best interest, and mine our energy as we try to make goals within parameters of someone else's ideas, often, most of which are extracting, just because they live inside of a system that is selling something it doesn't have. This is a debt-based society. We are often borrowing from our future to secure ourselves now. A very fearful idea. So many things created within that kind of system are victim to the very parameters of that system. So we are here to see things a different way and simply ask, what would it be like to build in truth? To share something that would naturally offer other minds a perspective of love, to lay down their swords for each of their individual upsets, generational upsets, political upsets, family feuds, friend feuds, wars, and any infinite stressors. May we lay down our weapons and look at ourselves. We can start with ourselves. After all, we would just be looking at ourselves. What logically should be so scary to discover? So when you look at yourself and you realize that some part of you is deeply upset, may you realize that you are fundamentally totally okay, and provided for it is simply you curious about healing yourself. And may you invite this great purge of feeling, knowing your upsets, trying them on, and cleaning that environment in the name of love. And if you don't think you know what that is, in the name of your highest curiosity and excitement for a discovery of what unconditional love may feel like, and recognizing that whatever that is worth being curious about, greater than it is being in love with some kind of upset. What do you love more than you love feeling poorly? So, there is nothing outside of you which can offer you the salvation of truly knowing yourself and recognizing the environment of love that your consciousness lives within. That you fundamentally have the option to see everything through this holiness, as the book calls it. This innate connection to God and the ability to unwind for probably proof, as we might think we believe that we need it now. Think that we believe that we need. We may be able to unwind beyond our upsets to some level of feeling, levity, noticing our light and its reflections, that we may fundamentally enter into some other way of sensing, deep feeling and knowingness. What would it be like to get closer to God in the eternal realm of knowledge? I imagine it would be understanding innately more knowingness. So may we recognize that if we are demanding that this venture or that idea or this person or that eventuality, if I could just reach it, that our salvation is somehow going to be found in that, may we see how ridiculous that idea is. That even if we notice that there was perfect peace, for how long? From what viewpoint of time? From whose viewpoint? We're talking about total peace, freedom from worry. the light of the world, bringing peace to all minds. It cannot be found in these external idols and ideas, although I don't know that we need to turn off our ability to exist amongst the ideas that we love. So where is it? Where is it that what you are? Why do you have the ability to ponder, to use your imagination, your creativity, to take these sounds in and process them against some knowingness and share back? What is it that you're saying when you say, I am? This, I believe, is the direction that we are moving in to gain some deeper understanding, using these words as some kind of foundation to realize in gaining this understanding, to realize that we are on some path to connecting with God, that this is not a threatening term, that God simply is love, and many other words that we could describe what might just be all of the same thing, this eternal realm of knowledge, love, abundance, truth, the unconditionality, that which is, and your permission from there to create. This is where we are going, to have a deeper understanding through our feeling of what God's plan for salvation is. And as we dare forgive some of our upsets, we slowly are removing objects from blocking the light of whatever our light is, seeing ourselves in a totally different light, and understanding what we are unfathomably beyond evaluation from the physical lens of our body identity. We are moving into some other way of seeing and being. And so we just let down our guard and say, what is this? Who am I? How do I feel as I go through this process? And as we remove those objects blocking the light, may we begin to notice that those very grievances are the impeding issue, keeping us from seeing our own light. May we have to come up against the responsibility of what reality might be, that we are at a crossroads to make a choice as creators. Now that we can notice this light as we dare move forward, is there something else in the darkness of this debris blocking it that I really imagine is more valuable than the discovery of that light in its entirety? I imagine the light is what we're looking for. So we say only God's plans for salvation will work, and holding grievances is an attack on this plan. Okay, thank you for listening. Lesson 87, reviewing 73. I will there be light. I will there be light. Please say this. I will there be light. I will use the power of my will today. It is not my will to grope about in darkness, fearful of shadow and afraid of things unseen and unreal. Light shall be my guide today. I will allow it where it leads me, and I will look only on what it shows me. This day I will experience the peace of true perception. Peace of true perception. I will there be light. Please try it on again. I will there be light. You will use the power of your will today. This is God's will instilled in you to see your light, to notice your light, for it to be so simple as to notice your light. I will use the power of my will today. This day I will experience Peace, the peace of true perception. That is your goal today. This day, you will experience the peace of true perception. You will there be light. It is not your will to grope about in darkness, fearful of shadows and afraid of things unseen and unreal. That fundamentally you do not believe that darkness may hide. Why? Simply show it light. That is what you are. Light shall be your guide today. You will follow it where it leads you. Just ask questions. Be curious. Let the answers be revealed. And you will look only on what it shows you. But if something comes forward for you to notice, that you accept it. That is the power of true vision, saying this is true and that's illusion. I will look what the light reveals. This day I will experience the peace of true perception. These forms of this idea would be helpful for specific applications. This cannot hide the light I will see. Amidst some idea of darkness, some sudden piece of news. This cannot hide the light I will to see. This cannot hide the light I will to see. I will there be light. You stand with me in the light. Name. Okay. We're expressing our curiosity. We're not here to have our egos be empowered. And I suppose if you are, well, that will be yours to learn about. How am I empowering my ego, I wonder? With a statement like, you stand with me in light, name. It feels like I could be selling something I do not have, presenting someone with a truth about knowledge that I don't innately realize yet. But as a practice of setting the intention, you stand with me in light. May we accept that to be true and non-threatening. And if it is true, may we will there be light. In the light, this will look different. I think that one of the easier lessons in the beginning of the book was there was a different way of looking at this. Yeah, okay, I agree. There's a different way of looking at this. So if we're seeing something that feels incongruent, or even something that is calm and safe, material, maybe even then, in the light, this will look different. Just an acceptance of our inability to know true meaning and therefore true purpose of anything and everything, if we are not seeing it from this idea of light. Again, I don't know where the line is in the sand to seeing like that idea. If we need to relax something still more physical, even though we're still talking about light, I think light might be an idea synonymous with truth, and truth is not something that we see, or light is a reflection of the idea of truth. Maybe you know better, or maybe it's variable. But maybe we can admit that everything we have been looking at, because we are harboring fears and upsets and attack thoughts, and we find ourselves worked up in these ways, we have never existed in a way where we have been aligned with love. So maybe we can leave it open to say, in the light, this will look different. And you stand with me in light. And that whatever we're noticing cannot hide the light that you will to see. So please repeat after me one more time. I will there be light. Thank you. '74. There is no will but God's. There is no will but God's. Very similar to only God's plan for salvation will work. Please repeat after me. There is no will but God's. I am safe today because there is no will but God's. I am safe today. I can become afraid only when I believe there is another will. That God wants you to be in peace and safe. And that our fear exists by believing that there could be any other will than God's. If we want to accept the idea of God, then this line of logic feels somewhat challenging to refute. That God could make you in the name of love, that is fundamentally what you are, then you know that because you're not comfortable with all of your discomforts, that there's some other way that you would like to see things, to feel. And you're not finding it in your stresses, in your dis-ease. So where is it? Well, it's somewhere more aligned with whatever it is to be well, moving in this path of love. That if God made you to fundamentally be at peace because he fundamentally wants you to be well, and you realize that you do not like feeling poorly, that we even avoid it, even if that is contributing to how poor we feel. We avoid noticing it. We avoid feeling and letting it go. But if we recognize that we like being happier, feeling well and connected, not being under any kind of threat, having freedom to do whatever we want, being ultimately creative, having absolute sovereignty, if these are all things that we love, well, perhaps it is the natural state that is what we would ultimately be searching for. That is simply what you are created for, to see it that way. That this is God's will. And if your God, your idea of God is all-knowing and therefore loving from this capacity we just shared, then he knows how to set you up for success. This is what he wants to have happen from the purview of knowing everything. So where we are creating our fears is because we are believing that there is another will. Whose will would it be? Who's the number 2 draft seed for God's? And how do you win against the number 1 who is all-knowing? Who has set a will in motion in the very place that the number 2, therefore, would be training in to say, yes, you too, I want you to know perfect peace and love. Our fear is believing that someone else's will is greater than God's. Well, someone could come hurt me right here, right now. Where's God? Where's his will? I'm aware people get hurt. But are you actually hurt right here, right now? Or is that your fear? If it's just your fear, and I hope it is, then you must admit that for this moment, the thing that you fear is not happening. And you are putting your faith in it must be true, that it will absolutely happen unless you can just barely hold on, and in which case you still must live in fear. You are putting your faith in a will of something that is not the infinite. And so you are afraid. I try to attack only when I'm afraid, and only when I try to attack can I believe that my eternal safety is threatened. That when you are fearful, you will fight. And when you fight, you are creating the reality. You are shrining your belief that you are vulnerable. You're denying your invulnerability, which existed in the realm where you were never under attack. Today I will recognize that all this has not occurred. It's just not here. Not right now. Just the idea of the fear is, and the belief in the will that you will not be provided for is. Releasing our timing and expectation provides us with this practice of patience and saying, oh, it didn't happen, but I'm okay. I'm still excited about this. I'll keep going. And as we are able to let go, file away the excitement in the infinite possibility of the unknown, sometimes things seem to surprise us from the unknown. And everything hinged on us finally letting it go. I am safe because there is no will but God's. There is no will but God's. I am safe today because there is no will but God's. I can become afraid only when I believe there is another will. I will try to attack only when I am afraid. And only when I try to attack can I believe that my eternal safety is threatened. When I try to attack, and only then can I believe that my eternal safety is threatened. Today I will recognize that all this has not occurred. I am safe because there is no will but God's. These are some useful forms for the idea for specific applications. Let me perceive this in accordance with the will of God. Let me perceive this in accordance with the will of God. To know your happiness. Let me perceive this in accordance with knowing my eternal happiness. It is God's will. You are his son, name, and mine as well. Offering the idea of standing in the light. Offering the idea to someone else too that it is God's will that you are his son. And, well, that both of you, you and them, you and I, we are both the Son of God. That is our will. The Son of God holds the light and the key, which is forgiveness. That's you, and that's me. It is our will to use it. This is part of God's will for me, however I may see it. Assigning some faith and trust that we are fundamentally provided for, and that whatever it is that we are noticing is there for us to notice, that we are noticing. And if we see something we do not like, we are curious about, what is it in me that does not like this? Where is it coming from? How do I feel? May I offer it forgiveness? What do I feel like in offering it forgiveness? And what do I feel like as I've decided it is forgiven? It is God's will. You are his son. It is seeing in truth and knowing love. This is God's will. Aligning with the unconditional. the eternal, the Holy Spirit, setting aside our allegiances to our illusions, and fundamentally seeing all things as one in God, all things with a universal purpose, to see the light of truth in all things. And with this ever-present evidence, I would imagine we feel entirely differently everywhere we go. And whatever it is that we believe we had to offer before is fundamentally different when we see it in more light. So today, you will there be light, and there is no will but God's. If there's no will but God's, and you are allowed to say, I will there be light, what do you imagine God's will is? God says, I will there be light, and created you. What do you imagine your will is? Align with God. I am Kesten Rono, and I will there be light.